Let's begin with this. Sometimes we forget we were created for joy. Hafiz. To heal is to touch with love that which we previously touched with fear. We come here really for a blessing, not so much to fix what's broken, but to get what's broken blessed. And here together, I'm reminded of the Irish proverb, it's in the shelter of each other that people live. And we're creating shelter here together, just by being here together as we are. We're here to have an experience of something that's easy to forget in the day-to-day. All our experience is sacred. Even and especially what we struggle with the most. Life often does not treat us the way we wish. Yet we get to decide how to treat ourselves. And here we experience treating each other as who we actually are. Spiritual beings on a temporary human journey, in temporary human disguise. We're here to learn to show ourselves the same patience and understanding and care we give to each other. Richard Rohr tells us that spirituality is a matter of emptying the mind and filling the heart at the same time. We're here together to help each other separate the meaningless from the meaningful, learning to see the meaningless as outside ourselves and the meaningful within. Rumi tells us we're stars wrapped in skin. The light that we're seeking is already within. And the beautiful dawn of change, deep transformational change, begins as we turn to the light that's already glowing within. So one of the most difficult experiences in the world we live in today is separation and its offshoots, fragmentation, dislocation, competition, domination, patriarchy. And separation actually has an impact on our physical being, on our health. And a primary part of our experience of separation is our disconnection from nature and from our bodies that are nature. We struggle with numbness, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And the easiest thing to turn to is the numbness with our physical body, the disconnection with our physical body, right? Like it's so peculiar how we can, we are this body and we're disconnected from it at the same time. Yet, what we're called to understand is not feeling our body is something we felt we had to do early in life to protect ourselves from shame, fear, anger, sadness, helplessness. It's a defense mechanism, reducing the sensitivity of our body. So today, when we go into stillness together, wherever you feel numb in your body, instead of resisting it, be kind. Earlier in life, the body became less sensitive to try and protect itself and ourselves. And we want to be kind to this, thank it, and gently assure it it is safe to feel here and now. This is a safe place. Wherever we struggle, we often think something is wrong and we need to fix it. Actually, though, on the spiritual path, we're called on a journey deeper inside ourselves to free a part of ourselves frozen in time, still trying to protect itself, yet now the protection is actually creating suffering. I find it very interesting how some of the leading spiritual teachers of the day are inviting us to connect with nature as a way of recovering our real self. We think of nature as something around us or something outside. Yet not only are we in it, we are nature. We're as much nature as the trees, the stars, the flowers, the birds. Modern life has shrunk our experience of this to fit in plastic bags and cardboard boxes. D.H. Lawrence says, we're like a great uprooted tree with its roots in the air. And we must plant ourselves again in the universe. Nature is an energy field. It's not just the things we see. It's alive, dynamic, pulsing with the life force. It's an ecosystem that's real, tangible. You can feel it when you stop everything. Nature brings us back to the body, returning us to a sense of wholeness when we let it. Nature can ground us when we're not able to do it for ourselves. What's truly amazing is that since we are nature, we can experience this inside without having to go outside, if we will just allow. Nature is not out there, it's in here. Hermann Hesse reminds us, within you there is a stillness and a sanctuary to which you can retreat at any time and be yourself. We're going to do that now. As we go inside, going inside begins with a direction, yet reveals a dimension, formless, timeless, where our true essence awaits us, already here. Nothing to do to get it. So let's come together and lead ourselves to that now. And just let the eyes soften. Go inside. And let the breath do what it knows how to do. What it's been doing every day of our life, day and night. Just allow the breath to bring in the life force with each inhale. And really visualize it going and reaching every particle of your being. Every cell. Let the hand come down over the belly, where all the emotions are swimming around and swirling like a bunch of eels. And then just gently bring the hand up to the heart and just let all those emotions empty into the heart like water pouring on sand. The heart is everything. It's the portal to all longing's fulfillment. It's the hub of all sacred places. Come here often and stay always. Now letting the hand come up to the forehead and just feeling all those thoughts like a beehive of thoughts. Let all those thoughts come into the hand and bring them down to the heart, where they just empty into the bottomless capacity of the heart. Rumi says that the heart is like a vast reservoir, and the human mind is like a tiny jug that cannot hold more than a day's worth of water. Just linger here together, and if there are any more emotions, just reach down, bring them up to the heart. Any more thoughts, reach up and bring them down to the heart. Using active imagination, take a walk now in the enchanted forest inside your soul. You yourself are nature. Feel this now. You are just as much a part of nature as the birds, the trees, the flowers. As you walk among the trees, feel everything. The earth underneath, the sky above. Notice everything is still, yet breathing with you. Feel the earth breathing with you. The sky, the trees, everything now breathing you effortlessly. You come to a tree and hear its silent voice say, "Here." So you sit under it with your back against the trunk, letting the tree become a part of you. Its trunk, your spine. Its roots, yours also, going deep into the earth and connecting to that vast underground network. Out of sight, yet no less real. Feel the tree branches going out in every direction as your own limbs stretching naturally and effortlessly in every direction. You lay back on the ground now, arms out to your side, legs open. Let yourself become one with the earth. The ground, your backbone. Then your entire backfield. Become one with the sky shining down. Feel your entire front of the body becoming one with the sky. Linger here and really drink all this in. Fill all your pockets with it. Feel the safety of being part of the vastness. Instead of the little human being the mind keeps insisting we are. It's all the mind knows, really. Here we're allowing a vaster intelligence to inform us, experience us, and us experience it. Very slowly, taking all the time in the world. Letting your eyes come back to the screen, yet leaving a part of yourself here. This beautiful holy place. Coming back to the screen, real people like you, like me. So we'll do our go-rounds, and those of you that have been here, just say that know that how we do that is you say your name and where you are on the planet so we can visualize you. And just a few words about what you're noticing right now, what you're feeling right now. Anybody can begin.
Hi.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm out near Philadelphia. I've been in the Philadelphia pathwork for a number of years now, so that's where I am. This is my first time here. I've been meaning to come, but I finally had a chance today. Thank you. It's good to see everyone.
Welcome, Sam. We're really glad you're here. The Philadelphia Pathwork is a happening place. Pretty alive and dynamic community.
Hi there, this is Silvio. I'm speaking from southern Florida in the US. And how I'm feeling, just grateful to be here.
Welcome, Silvio. Good to see you again.
Hi, I'm Karen, and I'm from Shenandoah, Virginia. So happy to be here with everyone today.
Welcome, Karen. Good to see you again.
Hi, I'm Saida, and I'm speaking from Copenhagen, and I feel much more calmer right now than when I came here. And yeah, I guess there's a lot that is going on inside of my head. So thank you, Brian, for the meditation. It feels like I have more space right now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Beautiful for letting yourself have it, Saida. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. I'm Judy. I'm from Toronto, Canada. It is a beautiful day outside, and it's really nice to be here.
Welcome, Judy. It's nice to see your face.
Hello, my name is Juan Carlos. I am in Mexico, in the state of Oaxaca. This is my first time. I am very grateful to be able to be here and to connect with nature, with my own nature.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Beautifully said, and you're so welcome to be here.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Chris, and I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia. I too am very glad to be here. This is kind of my home base. Uh, once a month on Sunday mornings, and I'm feeling. I'm present with a spark of anger that arose shortly before our Zoom related to my live-in partner, and I'm feeling embodied by a feeling by being with the sort of the nature of the charge. Feels actually empowering and relieving. So I'm with that, and I was also fighting ants this morning. I also had a really lovely walk. It's lovely here as well. So all that's going on, and I really loved the meditation. Thank you, Brian.
Welcome. All of you is welcome here, Chris, and I can feel that aliveness. It becomes you.
Hi, I'm Sean in Blue Ridge, Georgia in the US, and just happy to be here with some fellow souls.
So
my name's
Sean.
Sorry, Sean. Hi, I'm Jim from Red Lake, Ontario. July has been a really hard month for me and my family. We're grieving a very close friend, and she was like a daughter to me. And also dealing with a mental health crisis in the family. So really came here looking for connection, and
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. Let's take a minute with you, Jim, just to let in where you are and let it move through us. And please say the first name of your friend that you lost so we can really hold her here.
Her name was Marilyn.
Marilyn.
And she was like my daughter's closest friend, and she was always, she was like a daughter to me. Always, they were always together.
Yeah.
And yes, and it was a brutal car accident. It was horrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
46 years old.
Yeah. Can you feel us holding you here in your shock and your grief and your loss, Jim? Like we're bringing our own.
Thank you.
Essential, humbling human experience. Flattens us.
It's just such a roller coaster,
Yeah.
Grief is. It's up and down.
Yeah. And the other crisis as well, the mental health one.
Yeah, my stepson, he's gone through a mental health crisis, and now he's, thank God, getting help. But yeah, that was, it's been very hard for the family.
Yeah.
So July, it's been really hard on us. So we're definitely, I needed this connection, and
yeah,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. I really invite you as the time together progresses, just to feel us holding you here. I know you've touched many of us with what you're going through. We all have our own versions.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Elisa. Elisa's trying to unmute herself. Let's see.
Yes,
There we
I feel very close to you, Jim. Please be aware that that I'm with you. And as far as I am concerned, I feel much calmer than today, than in previous days. And I had a very good night's sleep, but I still feel sleepy. But it is a good sign that my nature, my body is recovering from the stress I also had recently. And the meditation was so rich, so really rich that any piece of it was, I'm grateful for any piece of it, and I'm grateful for all of you of being here. I appreciate it very much to be with you all together in presence and life.
Thank you, Elisa.
I'm Frank in Richmond, Virginia, and I have my windows open today for about the first time in 3 weeks. We've had such a heat wave here, and so having the windows open actually feels like letting nature into my life. I'm not the kind of person who likes to be cooped up in air conditioning, you know? So this is good.
Yeah.
And thank you for the meditation, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. So, Jim, before we move on, I'm just aware of how you're holding things together for your family. And see if there's just some letting go here with any movement, breath, sound, or you really don't have to hold it together, or just, see if there's anything that just arises without your thinking about it. So just, the word of lament, holy lament comes to mind,
Yeah, it's just a profound sadness that just goes through my whole body, my soul. It's yeah.
Stay with it. Yeah.
It challenges your faith. It's just quite the challenge.
Yeah. Let the voice that's challenged say anything here. The voice whose faith is challenged, let it say anything here.
It's just the why.
Yeah.
It's always the why.
Why?
Such a, a wonderful soul.
Yeah.
That was taken from us so young.
Yeah.
And the pain in my daughter is just.
Yeah.
Just.
Thank you, Jim. And say anything, anytime, no matter what's going on. That's really more important.
Thank you. I just appreciate the connection and you know.
So my name is Brian. I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And actually was feeling physically ill before we started. like I could get sick to my stomach. And before we started, was wondering if it's possible to tell them, I'll be right back, just hold it together and then run to the bathroom and run back. And if I do that, now you know what's going on, and just to really be there together. So what called me today to share is the word peace. And right now, I find the word so welcome in the midst of such profound distress in Jim and ourselves, in the world. And I'm comforted by the words of Thich Nhat Hanh. He says, if we want peace, we have to be peace. Peace is a practice, not a hope. I'm also comforted by the Course in Miracles that says, peace is already in you. You cannot find it outside of you. So how can we experience peace when we're so caught up in our busy day-to-day grind? Even when we're doing nothing or very little or overworked, it's the same grind of disconnection, dislocation, and preoccupation. Well, lo and behold, to simply observe whatever our struggle is without going into self-judgment or self-criticism is to have a choice to enter this underlying peace that's already inside of us. To simply observe means to stop, even for a few moments, just for a few breaths, just to let it all go, stop everything. Thinking, trying, planning, avoiding, judging, blaming, and just stopping for a few moments, we automatically activate inner knowing. Peace comes from simply observing all our distress and tension and inner conflict, where we're torn in different directions by everything piled on our plate. Eckhart Tolle tells us the greater part of human pain is unnecessary. It's self-created as long as the unobserved mind runs our life. And the pain that we create now is always some form of non-acceptance, some form of unconscious resistance to what is. Wow. What about Jim? What he's going through?
it's definitely a resistance.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Sure.
But in my opinion, a justified resistance.
Yes. So what we can say yes to is not what happened. That is indeed profoundly terrible, whatever it is each of us are going through. Yet we can deeply say yes to how we're affected, to the profound distress.
The deeper the love, the deeper the grief.
That's right, yeah. To follow them, follow the grief down into the love. And yet it's a process. It's a practice, like Thich Nhat Hanh said, right? It's like we got to keep doing it. And yet, Jim, what you're modeling so beautifully for us is it comes from saying yes to whatever we're going through, even if what we're going through is no, this is not okay. I don't accept this. Why? So again, peace is close at hand. By and by, just by stopping everything for a few moments and observing whatever our lack of peace is. With curiosity and lack of self-blame. Any place we're in conflict with ourselves is where we are at war. We all carry these wars within us. And from within us, war spreads into the world. You know, the force of evil in the world is separation. And separation is ever present, waiting to take advantage of every opportunity to create differences. Self-criticism, self-doubt are actually failed strategies for self-improvement. So, as we take on coming to peace with what we're going through, what we notice is this, that our emotions are the slaves to our thoughts. And we are the slaves to our emotions. The gift of this understanding is that our emotions are almost impossible to control. Yet, as we turn to them with the intention to come to peace with whatever it is that's going on with us, that is so distressful and disturbing in the moment, we start to look for a thought underneath the emotion. Right? And wherever we are hard on ourselves, self-blaming, critical, that is the first place to look for the thought that's driving the emotion. Basically, it's some thought of unworthiness, being defective, not being enough. Let dead leaves drop, Rumi says. Grow and let go. A lot of our emotions and the underlying thoughts are either from the past or fear of the future. And what we're learning here is that by just being in the present moment, by becoming still, and just being with whatever is going on inside, whatever it is, the past falls away. It falls away. It falls off the back of the sled. The future falls away. So remember, what has led us here, what has led you here, will keep guiding you if you let it. Yeah. So let's be here together with this and see what might be moving in you here. What you're noticing, where something's landing or where it's not. They're equally of value, right? Any questions? You know, one of the most fascinating things about awakening and self-realization is that it's both the most challenging thing and the simplest thing at the same time, right? That's what we're wanting to shine a light on here together, right? Like, and as path workers, we're really on a path where we spend a lot of time trying to understand things, see where they came from, what our attachment is to them, what our negative pleasure is. And all of that is essential. It's necessary. Yet it's not sufficient. What we're wanting to have a taste of here together is that momentary experience of liberation that comes from just seeing whatever it is that we're navigating without trying to get out of it, without trying to fix it, without blaming ourselves for it, without blaming life, God, others, our parents, right? Like, so You know, we all have our version of some core distress that keeps us tied up in a knot. And what I've observed in myself and so many others I've been fortunate to work with is like there's some thought of unworthiness, being less than, having something wrong with me, that when we look at this thought, what we say is we've been repeating this thought to ourselves all our life, right? It started early and it just became a part of how we deal with things. You know, when things become difficult, what we observe in human nature, it's somebody's fault. Right? It feels better to know who to blame, and yet the perversity of human nature is that it's so easy to blame ourselves. Right? So, you know, this turning to what's going on inside of us, whatever it is, and just observing it. One way, I know many of you have heard it described like this. I find it a powerful description. What we're wanting to do is see ourselves as a character in a movie, right? Just one of the characters. Instead of seeing that character as ourself, right? So it sounds a little clumsy, but let me try it this way. Like when you imagine seeing yourself as just one of the characters in the movie, likely the first thing you will have is some empathy. Wow, that person is really having a hard time. I can understand what they're dealing with, you know. Yeah, isn't it curious how hard it is just to do that for ourselves, you know, to instead of giving ourselves a piece of our mind, giving ourselves a piece of our heart. Right? So rather than try to stop the emotion of judgment, of blame, of resentment, victimization, you know, what is the thought underneath it that's driving it? So before we go into a short experience here, any questions about any of this? Anything you want to say before we? Please, Stephen.
Yeah, hi.
Glad you're here. And are you in New York right now?
I'm in New York right now as we speak. Yes. As usual, I'm sorry I'm late. I actually have something before, but I don't want to miss this. That was really excellent what was said. I've been kind of feeling a lot of anxiety recently, and rather than fighting it, I was just watching it and being with it. And I do realize that how much of this anxiety is provoked by thoughts, maybe all of it. And they're usually thoughts of catastrophe, of my demise, and I have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure what to do because I'm not sure what the catastrophe will be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very painful. And when I'm able to stand back and just watch the series of thoughts and the accompanying feelings that go with these thoughts, I realize that I used to think the thoughts were punitive, and they feel punitive because it forces me into the future usually, and with dire results. But I realized the thoughts really want to survive. So many of them is for survival.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really looking out, well, for my benefit. But when I look at the thoughts and just be aware of them, they seem to have an air of authority, and they express themselves with a certain amount of certainty that this will happen.
Yeah.
And I realize that they don't know any more than I, but they present themselves as if I don't do A, B will happen. And then I ask myself, how does that thought know that? It's a bit like Byron Katie, if anybody knows anything about Byron Katie, where is this true? And I have to stand back that it's not true. I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea. The thought usually is around health. And what's odd is I've been healthy my whole life. And it's the question comes up, like, I question the thought is like, what medical school did you graduate from? And they have absolutely no medical knowledge, because they're just thoughts that seem to surreptitiously jump up in my head. And they don't know any more than I know. But yet I believe them. And it takes so much energy to just step back and then open my eyes and experience, be here now.
Right.
Be here now. Because they keep wanting to pull me back. They're addictive, almost like addictive.
Right.
And thank you. What you just said is like right on.
Yeah. Anybody relate to Stephen? I'm raising my hand here.
Yeah, I relate.
You know, I don't like narcissists. Well, my thoughts are very narcissistic. So somebody was going to say something, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I understand exactly what he's saying. I remember a time in my life when I had thoughts of what I would call impending doom, no particular reason at all, you know, and they would really take over my whole being. But I also wanted to mention something about the concept of being in the moment or being present. The few experiences that I believe I've had in my life of actually being present were also accompanied by a sense of peace. And it is a momentary experience. I don't believe it's something we can say to ourselves, I'm going to fix everything in my life and then I'm going to be peaceful forever.
That's right.
You know, we're just going to have fleeting moments of being present and experiencing peace.
Our struggles will not end until our life ends. They're an inherent part of our incarnatory journey, right? So rather than insisting that the struggle stops, what we're considering here is, how do I use the pain of this struggle to create suffering by the unconscious thoughts that are really blaming, usually myself. You know, even blaming someone else is no better than blaming ourselves, right? Rather than just taking a step to the side and looking at them, and like in my case, I'm just feeling hopeless right now. I mean, totally hopeless. I don't care anymore. What the fuck? You know, I don't care who's going to miss me. I just don't care. I give up, right? Wow. I mean, it's not a daily occurrence, but it's several times a week. So what we're considering is not to get fooled by the intensity of our distress, right? The more intense it is, the more likely we are to blame ourselves, find fault with our inability to let it go, or, you know I should stop and just be still and drop deeper into myself, but I can't do it right now, right? So let's try this. Let's go back inside for a moment. And just allow some recent distress to rise up just as it is. Feeling the ground under your feet, feeling the container of this circle all around you. And just take a moment and notice the distress without getting too close to it. And visualize yourself just reaching for the distress, holding it in your hands, and just gently teasing it apart, pulling it apart, looking for a thought that's in the distress. It's in there. Take another moment, and if you haven't connected with the thought yet, see if the thought is, I can't, I don't know how, what's wrong with me, I'll never get this. Yet if you can, see if you can just keep gently coming to the thought under this specific distress that's yours, your recent distress. And even if you think you already know this thought, just look at it with fresh eyes. Gently visualize yourself pulling it apart with your hands. Maybe there's another thought inside this thought. Just breathing into the stress now with some gratitude for whatever came to you, whatever it was, there's value in it. You can trust that. Gently bringing yourself back. See if there's something you can share with us just to hear yourself say it and claim it.
Can I share? Yeah. So the distress came from having a fight with my wife, and she did something that hurt me. And so I was when I was trying to see what the thought was, it's like, oh, she wants to hurt me. And then behind that thought, it was, I don't deserve this. I am not a bad person. But then it's like, oh, maybe I am a bad person. So I think that's the boredom of it, like some part of me believing that.
Yeah.
I am a bad person. So, and even, something like that. Yeah.
And how does that feel right now?
It feels liberating, that just being aware of that thought, because right now I don't believe that.
Yeah, right.
But I think that I was believing that.
Right.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your sharing this so much. And what's so powerful is when we realize that whatever the thought is that's coming up in the present circumstance, it's a thought we've had our whole life, right? Some version of this. That's why it's so powerful to start to see it more clearly, as the guy says, lift it out of vagueness, right? We kind of know what it is. That is, each time we're just bringing more precision and clarity to seeing what the thought is, because then often the thought doesn't hold up on its own, right? But it's behind the curtain. It runs the show. So who else had found a thought?
Thank you.
I came to I'm worthless and unlovable.
Yeah, wow. Whew. I can feel that one. And I've been following how early in life I felt that, and even before I could speak. And
as I was holding it and pulling it apart, I felt this sense of, this isn't true. You're a loving, lovable being. I love you.
Yeah. How does that feel, Sean?
It feels really good.
Yeah. I'm a loving being, right? It's really claiming with that beautiful spiritual reality that, that why we're from our lifetime wounding trying to find love, really, the truth is we are love, and it's having a glimmer, a momentary experience of that is so powerful, like you just did. And what you're modeling here for us is we only get these insights by going into the distress, allowing the distress, when usually it's the last thing we want to feel. Our defense mechanism says, let's do something else. Go eat something, drink something, smoke something, whatever, right?
Just something came to my mind. A lot of the things you brought up, because I noticed that I'm experiencing a lot more inner peace. And as I did this exercise, and the words you shared, it's like before I didn't look into these beliefs and let them come up and observe them. But now that I'm becoming more aware of what's coming up, these beliefs, and that the lies they are, it's like clearing out the garbage in my body, and I'm feeling more space, more expansive, And I do allow those feelings and thoughts to come up so I could be with them. And I'm realizing how many lies there are. But as a result of this clearing out, it's also making me see my own truth and who I really am, which before I identified who I really was with these beliefs and thoughts. But as I allowed them to come up, just like we were doing, I've been practicing that, I'm realizing I can even be in grief and still be in peace as well, which is something I didn't know before. I never experienced it. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, I think this is really beautiful. It just reminds me of a inner cleansing and greeting what's in there.
Thank you, Karen. And Karen, you have real credibility with me around your own journey with all of that. Who else wants to share? Who else doesn't? Stephen.
Stefan's fine too. I'm in a relationship with a person. She's down in Florida. I go back and forth between New York and Florida, and she doesn't communicate very well with me. She doesn't call me. It's usually I have to keep calling her. She doesn't answer her phone very well, and it kind of amplifies my sense of loneliness here in New York. And when that happens, I call, and there's an ensuing sense of anxiety that please answer the phone. And when she doesn't, there's the sense of anger, anxiety, sense of loneliness, and fear. And I started to tease out all those things. And the fear is, well, you know, Stephen, at your age, you're probably not going to get another relationship. Now, I don't even know if that's true, and I don't even know what it means, another relationship.
Yeah.
I
hear it saying, just suck it up, Stephen.
Suck it up.
Yeah.
This is who she is. Why are you so freaking needy?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You're paying
there we
for
go.
everything.
Now the energy, you see, we're really...
Yeah, you're paying for everything.
Yeah.
You have to call her. She doesn't call you back. And when you get on the phone, you don't even enjoy the conversation.
Yeah.
So what are you complaining about? All these, the self-deprecating thoughts.
Yeah.
And when I start to pull it apart, it really comes apart because life is much greater than my view of what's happening in my relationship. There are so many other factors in life that I can enjoy and follow financially, psychologically, and physically. I'm fine. Then why am I so turned into this one specific area?
Yeah.
Feeling that I'm so dependent upon her calling me back so I can finally relax.
Yeah. So Stephen, who is so dependent, you see? Because the why brings us up into our heads. There's a real unmet need here.
There is.
There is a real unmet need.
Yeah, there's a real unmet need. And I think it goes back to an original trauma when I was 5, 6 years old, where I didn't feel protected by my mother. And I was so dependent upon her where, because I was crying in kindergarten, I was locked in a closet.
Right.
And where's mommy to help me? And I'm all alone.
Right.
And I see, I just feel it now.
Yeah.
And there's so much pain and compassion for that little 5-year-old that never was held. And I want this woman to be my mommy and hold me at that moment and answer the freaking phone. Please answer the phone. Let me out of this closet, please.
Yeah. So what you're demonstrating so vividly for us is when we keep uncovering the thoughts, we see the thoughts are trying to defend an abyss of pain, right? That we believe we can't feel, it will be annihilating to feel, because it was indeed annihilating for that 5-year-old, totally annihilating, right? He was freaking out in the closet, coming undone in the closet, right? Yet, you say, then we get to what is the one thing I've never wanted to feel that I'm called to feel now and know I will come out the other side of. Even if I have to do it over and over again, each time I come out a little stronger, right?
And when I'm in that closet, metaphorically speaking, in my mind, I lose Stephen, his abilities, his intelligence. Stephen evaporates. And I'm totally in her domain, in her power for that moment.
Yeah.
And it's so clear.
Yeah, and again, to use the gift of your own sharing here with us is that we're seeing how we're called to be kind and understanding to the very part of us that feels most overwhelming to us, right? And that we actually don't like at all, right? We wish it would go away, right? And this is where we're at war, right? And it's not just the path work that says that when we avoid pain, we create suffering. I mean, this is what the Buddha has been telling us too. Yet, it's one thing to know that as a concept, and it's the other to just stop and be still and see what it is that's happening, and then gently dig down to whatever it is I don't want to feel, and let it just come in like a tsunami, I mean, it really is like a tsunami. Yet it comes and it goes, right? It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Yet in our terror, we feel like we're going to die.
Yes.
Yeah. There's some interesting neuroscience now on loneliness. And I read in a scientific journal that loneliness unattended is like smoking 15 cigarettes a day. What? How could that be? No, couldn't be. Yet, I read what the explanation is. Loneliness puts us into fight or flight. I either got to get rid of this or I got to run away from it, right? And it turns out that fight or flight, which is a basic neuroresponse in all animals, is preparing ourselves for attack by a saber-toothed tiger, right? So what the body does is actually shift from protecting against viruses to protecting against bacteria, because there's going to be some hurt, some wounding, right? Some cuts. It's gearing up to fight infection. And it's a form of inflammation that now is running on its own in the body and sets off different kinds of autoimmune attacks and everything else, you see. So it really inspired me at 75 to take a look at my own loneliness. Like, I gotta work this, right? Like, I know it's totally unpleasant, but now I know it's killing me. I'm like, whoa. And You know, I have a serious cancer, as some of you know, and I can say that the loneliness is not helping me. So again, you know, just to stop and be still, invite in the distress. Mine is, they didn't write me back. I opened up, I showed my beautiful self, they didn't write me back. You know, or whatever. It's just, you know, we all have our own version. So
Chain smoker in that case.
it's fascinating, really.
What you're saying, I have to just jump in. What you're saying reminds me of one of my favorite books called Scared Sick, and it really outlines what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really, really powerful stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you for including that.
Mhm.
I'd like to share for a moment, what I'm noticing. I know it's the bind I lived in childhood, that the anger I mentioned starting off this time together. It was just a tiny kernel, just a tiny thing that happened that just sparked this anger. And I know it's complicated in terms of it's about a bigger issue. It was a small thing that triggered this bigger thing. And I know I'm living, and it feels really good to be with the anger. As I said, to feel embodied with this. Like that's kind of what feeling the charge of it helps me feel here. And I'm aware that it's a bind of that I lived as a child where I was, of course, needing my parent. This way, in this moment, it's that my father stuff up, like needing to go towards him for some comfort, and yet he was the source of my pain, and that's playing out in my current relationship with my long-term partner.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really with this, and feeling, on the one hand, stuck without an out, and yet it feels very relieving and brings some peace to be present to the energy of it.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. We're getting ready to come in for a landing in a few moments yet. It's really important if anyone else wants to share that you do.
I was just going to say that this is such a big thing about the trying to find someone to fix the problem of the parent that hurt you the most, Me find a partner that has the same character and personality structure as that parent who hurt me the most. And if I can make it right with that person, I'll fix everything that happened to me in my childhood.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
The recreation of the childhood hurt, right?
It's all on a subconscious level.
Yes. So powerful. Yes, indeed.
So before we have our closing, Jim, I just want to come back to you. And what I want to say is I'm going to be thinking about you.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm going to be feeling you out there and in here. And I want you to know I'm not the only one here. Like, you've really touched me. You've really touched us. And we're really, truly here with you in this bewildering, incomprehensible wrenching passage, just as it is. And it's really a blessing to us to be here with you this way.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we can feel it.
Thank you, Jim. Lots of love to you.
Not a lot of words.
Yeah. So I invite us to let the eyes soften again. And come back to that movie with this character who's doing the best they know how to do, feeling unprepared, unworthy, confused, and just feeling a softness in your heart towards this character. And letting that softness of the heart come up into the mind with any thoughts of self-doubt, self-criticism, unworthiness, just washing them away. Letting that softness in the heart come down to the belly, washing away shame, guilt, and as you look at this character, say in your own way, I see your courage. I'm here with you. And letting the eyes softly open and take yourself off mute and really see what energy of that is here to spread around. And brothers and sisters, I'm here with you.
I'm here with you.
I'm here with
I'm
you,
here
whatever
with
it
you.
is.
I'm here with you.
I'm here with you.
I'm here with
I'm
you.
here with you.
Copenhagen and New York and Mexico and Canada and Virginia and Italy.
Italy.
You're beautiful and I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Brian.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.